This is a work of the Culture Watcher. Views expressed here are my own opinions. So, I wanted to talk about this guy, James Somerton. Originally, I was going to go over a whole thing with over the second apology for his massive plagiarism issue, but I feel the internet has done a thorough job on that already. I think that this might be more helpful just to address something that I don't know if James will ever hear from another person. So, as someone who is on the spectrum and is neurodivergent, I do have some words for you, James, that are actually they're intended to be helpful. They're an observation, not a judgment. As a preliminary going into this. So, James, you have done tangible harm to
Sent along to
vulnerable people in the community. It's just a fact. There's no magical set of words that is going to change that. You given that this is your second attempt at an apology, this video right here,
Hbomberguy's team to be
this one, even though people say that the obviously everything you say is a lie, the other aspect of that truth is that this being the second apology video means that you put a lot of effort into making this one the real deal. These are the words you wanted to say that you thought would save you. But I'm here to tell you, there are no magical words phrased in any way that will make things like they were before. There is no sequence of words, no one else you can try to pin blame on or ask for the grace of. Words alone will not fix this. Neither will your own actions. But that is an important thing to note because seeing how this apology word, knowing your backstory does not make you more sympathetic for your lack of empathy. And this is not me trying to diagnose you or anything. This is me just trying to say that this is something that everyone has to struggle with at some point in their lives. The understanding that other people continue to exist and have their own lives when you do not see them. This means, for instance, that say you H. Bomberguy's video that thoroughly debunks and explains the plagiarism and allegations in detail with proof of their veracity. It's not going to go away. It doesn't stop existing or become less tangible if you disappear, like and then show up again, like Rita Repulsa.
Ah! After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth!
Alpha, Rita's escape.
You're always going to run into teenagers with attitude now if you become the wicked witch that is hiding in the world, like is hiding somewhere, and then just pops out on the internet, tries to take over the LGBT sphere. If you want to say be a character actor, like or just a guy that reads a news prompter, go into that. Just you're not cut out for content creation that requires any trust of your word because you've destroyed all your credibility, all of it. The only like ultimately once you grasp and understand that other people have their own lives and their own set of problems, you understand one, the harm you've caused. Because think about the idea that you may be a bunch of queer kids' first experience with queer content. That they learned it from you, and then they find out that the first person that they trusted with this lied to them. and then they have to go carrying and go continue on with their day. Like, they're not just numbers on a sheet. Even if you were the most innocent in all this, if everything was everyone else's fault, and you just came fully formed from the mists to a set that was preset with those colors and with a script pre-written, and you just read off those words and then returned back into the land of myths and fables that are completely innocent of all your actions, despite everything appearing otherwise. The harm is still real. That's why the words will not work. And that's why you need to understand that and give up attempting to take control of the situation. It, in the long run, it is only going to hurt you more if you do that. It's only going to make you suffer as well as everyone else, because people need time to heal from traumatic stuff, like finding out a content creator that they may have followed is a plagiarist who doesn't do anything. They may need time not seeing your face for a while because they themselves have their own internal lives that require that kind of time to deal with it. Forcing yourself on them just solidifies you as the villain in this case. Somewhere between that innocent babe in the woods and the demon that they see in their minds when they picture of you is where you actually are, and you have to decide where that is and where you're ending, or you want to end up after this. Because even if you like go offline and then try to ignore it or and then come back, you're gonna still come back to the same thing because Hbomberguy's video is still real. It's still there, even if you don't watch it entirely or basically just attempt to rationalize it away. It's still going to be there, and people are still going to believe him over you. And no attempt to vilify Nick or anyone else, even if they were responsible, will change that. Because you are the face of the channel, and you are the one who said the mouth words. Just people associated with you. Ultimately, if you want to, if say, because I don't believe anyone should die of poverty. That should not be a thing in a good society. If it's literally your back is against the wall and there's no way out but through, and you have to keep hitting that upload button or it's death by poverty, my recommendation is to actually reach out to Hbomber's team and fill in the blanks. Let them know what you did, how you did it, and then leave it up to them to decide what you should do to make up for it. I mean, that's entirely up to them if they want to do any actual work. But in theory, if they take control of your channel and pay you a living wage, they could make you read off script. They could write a script for you to read off and about why what you did was wrong, so no one else follows your example. Become a good example instead of the bad one you are currently. So that because as much as the plagiarism is important in the on for us, it's a lot of other YouTubers will plagiarize regularly without without any consequence because their spheres don't even track that. There's a lot of good you can theoretically do if you are willing to give up control and if others are willing to help you. But the more you attempt to what about or try to throw other people in front of you in an attempt to save yourself, the less people would ever want to help you. And also, as a side note, don't try to bring up other people in some sort of way as if it helps your case. Because even if, say, like for instance, with Jesse Gender, even if Jesse Gender said that you literally cured the sick and made the blind see. People would more likely believe that you had paid her off than that you had actually done something, because the actual value of your words is so little. And on top of that, it makes it very uncomfortable for them to have to try to explain the situation, and it further sours your image. So yeah, my recommendation is either get off the internet or give give your channel to someone who is actually ethical enough to be trusted with that kind of money, and also give up on Telos, man. Look, if you want to make a film like a film studio, any serious one, you don't want like one or two IPs. You want like 30 or so, because you're going to be losing a lot of them because of lack of funds or lack of ability to get them done. Well, even if you thought like even if you really wanted it, the issue that you're going to run into is that like you're just not good at organizing. Otherwise, you would have, I don't know, paid someone to write scripts for you or do the research. Like the amount of money you were making, you could have easily hired someone to do that, and you didn't even think to. So I would table that for a long, long time, potentially indefinitely. You're only going to hurt yourself if you keep doing this. You're going to end up like Tucker Carlson, shilling Vladimir Putin at the end of the day, and no one wants that. So the hope is that this will actually be better than another video just tearing apart the apology for the farce that it is, because it's important to note that you seem to have a fundamental disconnect between what happens in reality based on what you believe the sequence of events is and what the rest of the world is, and that is not healthy for you. For you, it is not healthy. You are the one who's going to still have to live with the consequences of what you did, regardless of what you say. And my only hope is that well, I hope that you see this, because I don't know if anyone else is going to be willing to tell you this.